it's great to have y'all here, and you know, we're like no different than UMass. I'm sure that Don's is ready to play a football game and see where his kids are at. We're kind of the same way. So seems like we've been practicing a long time. And sooner or later, kind of like Paul Bear Bryant said, you sooner or later you got to throw them out there and see what you got. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'll take any questions.
This expectations. I don't know if you've been in a place where you played so well last year. You said multiple times that you exceeded expectations. So with expectations, ESPN game, home game, a lot of excitement around the town. Like how are you and how is the team like managing those, getting ready for a game when the outside looking in, they think you're going to do well?
Really haven't paid attention too much. Our approach hasn't been any different than it was a year ago. My first year in Northern Illinois, I think we took over a team that was 1-10 or 2-10 or whatever. I think it was 2-10, and I believe we went to a bowl game that year. I'm not sure, but I think we did. And so the expectations were higher after our first, after that. So, but I don't think that our kids. We haven't changed a whole lot, haven't talked about it a whole lot, talked about the same principles we had last year. I think they're all smart enough to know that the expectations are higher and those kind of things, and we're in a conference, and I think that's exciting, for our kids, not being independent. And I'm sure, with all the media and all the things, they're all looking at that, and that's normal as a young person, but on the practice field and what we've done, we haven't approached it any different.
As far as openings, it's 2 years in a row, opening the season in week 0, big national television games. What do you think about that in terms of just the opportunity to showcase, a team coming off a bowl victory on a national stage like that?
We'd have to go back in history, I don't know, but for us to play on ESPN the last game and then play on ESPN this game, I don't know when the last time that's happened. I would imagine maybe never, I don't know. But so I think that's something that is exciting, and then anytime you can be on national TV, it helps. It helps our whole state. It certainly helps Las Cruces. It helps our university. It helps our football team. It helps recruiting. So all those things, and then because you got, I don't know, we had 2.4 million or something like that for the bowl game, and there's a possibility we may have more viewers. I don't know. But anytime you can put all that together, and you got a winning football team, and on ESPN, people are going to come watch that. The hotels are going to be more full. People are going to eat out. It's just it helps everybody, and I think that's the big thing about it.
How do you feel about how's the roster? Did it come together the way that you did during the signing period and then spring practice?
I think I think from a roster standpoint is that we've done as good as we can with the resources we have, and maybe exceeded that a little bit, and certainly late in the game, when we were still out there, I don't even know when it was, but it was that late signing date and the last portal area and so forth, and we hit things pretty good at that time, and I think that will show up even later in the year. But recruiting wise, we needed to get better in some areas, and I think we've addressed those areas.
What do you see from UMass as far as?
Well, they're sort of like anything else, is that defensively, they've got a lot of returners, and then they plugged in some players, and Donnie Brown, arguably one, he's like, very similar to what they were in New Mexico last year, and throws a lot of stuff at you. He's going to play you man, cover one a lot. He'll mix in some other things, but defensive wise, he's just, he's a lot like Rocky. He just, it's a mess to prepare for. And then from an offensive standpoint, they made themselves better. They're the starting quarterback, was at Clemson, and you've seen him play, and so that's made them a lot better. Anytime you got a good quarterback and you play good defense, you're building your team inside out. So, you know, we're doing the same thing. And so very similar where we're at. And that's why it should be such a great opening game.
How do you feel about kind of the way you were able to rebuild the defense, and where does that, do you feel good about it entering game one?
Oh yeah, I do. You know, we can really run. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to Dion playing. I'm looking forward to, you know, Ron playing. Some of the new guys that we picked up, because they are, you know, very, very athletic and can do some things. So, and but you know, we run really well. You know, we got some new players, and you know, you certainly don't want to have a bust or something like that, and boom, there's a touchdown. And you know, we have the athletes to be better. Can we be better the first game? I don't know that, but we have the athletes to be better.
How difficult has it been getting ready for this game? Because like you guys have some transfers, they have a lot of transfers too on both sides of the ball, I think, especially on offense. So like how has that matchup been, like getting ready for, you know, to face kind of a new offense and you have kind of a new defense?
No, you know, we really don't have a new defense. If you look through the roster, you know, too deep. Gabe Peterson played last year. Booty played last year. Gabe was elected a captain. I think that shows you how much respect. They're both a lot better players. We're loaded up in the defensive tackle, nose guards, and we're loaded up there with, you know, some very good players. You know, Walker played some, and he's 6'6", 270 now.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't that big a year ago. Sony, we redshirted. Keyshawn played. We picked up Tyler Martinez late. Andre Seldon played last year. We picked up Keontae from Wyoming, and he's had experience. And defensive back coach there was the defensive back coach for me at Minnesota. So there's a background there. BJ has played. Reggie hasn't played here. Still learning the system. Miller played some. J.J. DeVille played some. Malachi played. Dylan Early played. Georgian Benson is, you know, hasn't played here, or Miles Rouser, but they're going to play a lot. You know, I can tell you that. All these secondary players are going to play a lot because of what they do. And then John Huggins is a guy that's a freak of nature, and so is Vessel's a true freshman. You know, he comes out of a program that just, you know, Bishop Gorman, they just send him out right and left, and you know, we're fortunate that Coach Sanchez coached there, and so it is new, but the scheme's not any different, and we just plugged them in the scheme, and our older players have helped our guys that have come in. Everybody wants to win, you know, that's one thing about it, so we haven't had a lot of issues on that.
Obviously, a lot of experience back offensively. Does that just give you a lot of confidence that you'll be able to kind of keep rolling the way you were late in last year, you know, with the offense?
Yeah, we hope to be, you know, I think the addition to Ron, you know, young man that transferred from Utah State, you know, find many tight ends that are 6'3", 275, and can run 4.7, and that's why the NFL people are in here all the time, between him and Ron and a couple others. And then Whitford was a key active player for us last year. Those are big tight ends. And then Shiaz has put on 40 pounds or whatever. You know, Shamar Jackson's a new guy, stronger kid. Yaro's better, AJ's better. And then that left tackle spot, Jacob Golden had been the starter, but then he hurt his toe, and he's back. But Louis done a good job, so I expect both of them probably to play. So, you know, our defense thinks we're better. That's, you know, so that's the, you know, that's kind of the key. But it's, do I expect to build from that and be better than we were a year ago? Absolutely. You know, I expect us to be good on defense. It's just like them. You play good defense and you got a quarterback, you got a chance to have a good football team. And you know, we have the capabilities of being very good on defense. You remember a year ago we didn't know anybody, and our two coordinators did a great job there. And So, you know, yeah, you know, our run backs are better. So we should be better, but we're playing very difficult defense. And if we can move the ball against these guys, we're gonna be able to move the ball.
Yeah, last year they did a good job against your run game, I imagine. Do you expect, you mentioned how they played it, you know, man-to-man and blitz in the pass game. Like, do you have to get the run game going in order to win
Yeah,
there?
and you may have to do the other, you may have to throw it to run it.
Okay.
You know, like Bill Walsh used to do. But the thing about them, I don't think people realize they're number 9 in the country in defense.
Mhm.
And nobody's talked about that. So, you know, we're playing against top 10 defense in the country. And you know, I know him. I coached against him. I coached against him 1AA, and he's been all over the country. And you know, got a lot of great respect for him, just like I had for Rocky. I'm glad Rocky's gone. You know, so I wish Don wasn't coaching either. To tell you the truth.
Why did you move Keyshawn to Will? Can you talk about that? Just because you're confident in
Well, we moved Keyshawn to Will because of Sony.
Okay.
And Sony's had such a good camp and played very well. And also the emergence of Tyler Martinez, who's listed as a Will, but he could also play a Mike. And he was a great pickup late. We picked him up because of Diego. And Diego says he's got the same edge I do, and he plays hard, and that's exactly what you get. And so I've been impressed, you know, really impressed with him. Javion Gibson will be in some things that he can really run. And maybe the sleeper, you know, down the road, 5th, 6th game will be Quincy Davis from the same school, Bishop Gorman. So we'll see how he does. But, you know, Keyshawn and Tyler and Sony, I mean, I think you'll see Gibson some.
What's the biggest step Diego took in the off season for you?
He just left off to where he was at, but he's throwing the ball tremendously. I mean, I think practice the other day is 18 for 21, you know, into the wind. So he's just really, you know, is really done. He's really worked on his throwing capabilities, and you know, he's still Diego. He can make plays, but he's really throwing the ball well.
How will you manage, I guess, his like run pass splits this year?
Whatever that defense gives us, that's what we'll do. You know, that's what good coordinators do, good coaches do. Is, you know, if they allow you to run the ball, you run the ball. If you can't run the ball, you gotta throw the ball. But every coach in America would tell you, love it or we want it, we're gonna be 50-50. I've never seen anybody 50-50, so that's a dream. You just never